Okay, my bad.
Let me get to him.
Okay, let me mute it.
Here we go.
Okay, I got us unmuted for 1 second. Let me get my shit in too. Let me get see here. There we go. They can hear. I'm finna share too. My bad. I'm sorry about that. Mute this.
I'm ready.
Y'all unmuted now. I'm gonna be quiet. And I'm gonna be quiet.
All right. Are we on?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Jameca. It's time. It's Friday. It's lunchtime.
It's Monday.
And again, I have no lunch.
It's Monday.
And
we don't have lunch.
And we said we were going to start having lunch. But anyway, was that your lunch
Yeah,
right there?
Coffee.
Okay. All right. Maybe. But thank you all for tuning in this Monday morning, or no, this Monday lunchtime. Going to give a shout out to 810 News Media. Thank you for bringing us here again, Mickey. We certainly do appreciate it.
Yes, we did.
So let's see. Maybe we'll start like we started before. What's going on, Jameca? It's been busy.
It's been busy, and I'm trying to find this.
What are you trying to find? Maybe I can help you.
This press release.
Oh, from last week?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's what's going on. Is that
That's
what
what's
we're
going
talking
on. That's
about?
what I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Here it is right here. Right here. That's the one you're talking about?
It is. Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it because there's a lot going on and there's a lot that has not happened. And we said we are here to keep the community informed and educated. So let's go.
And talk about like your platform. And this, I think this aligns right into what your platform is. So I'm going to read this.
As she drinks her lunch.
As I drink my lunch. The city of Flint. So this was 2 days ago.
Friday.
So this was Friday. Oh, this was Friday. And it says Flint, Michigan. The city of Flint has reached the Friday, September 30th, court-mandated service line replacement deadline. And this is from you. So when I say
this is from me, yes,
you.
I put this statement out.
I have grave concern for the state of the pipe replacement program. My administration worked tirelessly to secure funds and execute the most aggressive pipe replacement program this country has ever seen. We had to be aggressive because access to clean, safe, affordable drinking water is a matter of life or death. Since my administration has left office, only 800 pipes have been replaced, and on today, the ability to replace the remaining pipes without a direct cost to the city is of major concern.
Yes.
Flint lead service line removal program was established. Flint's lead service line removal program was established by a 2017 court order issued in a landmark citizen suit to address the massive contamination of the city of Flint's drinking water. The deadline extension agreement was approved by the federal court in April of 2022. This is one of the main reasons I'm running to complete the unfinished business of my previous term. We were on track and the pipes would have all been replaced by now. Can I read that sentence again?
We were on track. Okay.
We were on track and the pipes would have all been replaced by now.
And it is one of the reasons that I'm running. When you hear me talk about unfinished business, that's some of the unfinished business, because that should have been done. That should have been done. And you know what's really interesting to me about that, Jameca, is we put that statement out Friday. Did you? Not one local media.
I heard it on 810 news media.
Okay. We did hear it on 810 news media, because that's where we have to get our news, I guess.
Yeah.
So we did hear it on 810. But when you think about your traditional media outlets, we haven't heard anything about this. And one of the things I said is this is a problem. And I know if I had been in office, they would have dragged me. They would have been knocking on my door and everybody else's door, trying to not only get a story, but to repeat it over and over and over and over. And for them to not talk about this and where it puts this community when we were a year ahead of schedule, and it was an aggressive pipe replacement program because we deserved an aggressive pipe replacement program, because 8 years later, we shouldn't even be talking about this. We shouldn't be having this conversation. Those should have been completed, and they're not. And they're not. And we know over in the 6th Ward, we have some hot spots going on. And so for this to be silenced and we're not talking about it, I think it's just a tragedy. And you know what's really interesting about this is the company, W.T. Stevens, that had not gotten paid, they're close to $1 million for what work already done, has had to come and help bail the city out, because even WT is putting the health and well-being of this community above profit.
Exactly. Because they could have said, you know what?
You owe us.
You owe us. So what do we look like? What do we look like coming in and being the ones that save this mess?
Right.
But they put the health and and you know what? I respect that.
I do too.
I respect that a lot, because I mean, they were dragged by this current mayor, this current administration.
Yes,
but yet, here we are on the back end, and they're the ones going in trying to save the city, trying to help us to finally be able to have all of these pipes replaced.
And the excuse that they're using that these pipes haven't been completed is COVID. Oh, wow, Jameca.
You know what?
What?
I've gotten too many calls about people mad because their water got shut off because they didn't let them come and do that meter replacement.
They can come for that.
COVID didn't stop that.
No, it didn't.
I see people at Walmart. COVID didn't stop that.
Okay.
The clubs are open. The nail salons, the hair salons have been open for well over a year. Well over a year.
And then for this statement that 95% of the pipes have been replaced, we did 85-90% of them.
So
come on now, stop taking credit for work we did. Stop taking credit. But if you will say you have a degree and you don't, you will say that you've done most of the pipe replacement.
Because a liar is a liar is a liar.
Ooh.
That's how I was taught. That's what my mama taught me.
Your mama is right.
So,
your mama is right.
See,
and so what do you say to this community? I mean, you know what? I did do an interview, and it has not been completed yet, but it wasn't by local media other than 810 News Media around this issue of the pipe replacement or lack of pipe replacement and incompletion of this job. And she said, the election is coming up in November, so what would you do? I said, I'd make this a priority. And I think that's been the problem. When we've been told by this mayor that the water is good, then replacing pipes is not a priority. When we've been told by this mayor that this settlement is adequate, then this is not a priority. I said, and we need to go back to the health and well-being of the people. They want us to be quiet about the water in Flint. We want to be quiet about the water in Flint. We shouldn't even be talking about this 8 years later. We ought to be talking to other communities about how we were able to get through this and what recovery can look like. That's what we should be
We should
doing.
be able to hand them the blueprint.
Exactly.
When we see this happen in other communities, we should be able to hand them the blueprint.
Exactly. So one thing is to go back to the public health that we were under and putting health in all policy and getting the pipes changed, completing that. Still advocating for in-home infrastructure. By that I mean pipes, in-home fixtures, plumbing, appliances,
hot water tanks.
Yeah, fighting about those kinds of things and making that a priority. Exactly, that the state kind of reneged on because they were supposed to give us 4,000 for 3 years, which would have only been 12,000, but it would have been a start.
And
they
you're
only
so
gave us
nice.
4.
You said they kind of reneged.
Okay, they reneged. Is that clear?
That is clear because they did. And I remember when I first started working at City Hall, one of the things that I would do would be go to like the senior centers, and I would talk with them about fixtures and sign people up and get them out there to change people's faucet fixtures. And then it was gone all of a sudden. I got an email or something like that, and it was just over. But they said, "Oh, we're just pausing it. We're gonna start it again in a couple months," and it never started again. And so many of us who needed different fixtures because the water had messed ours up,
right,
didn't get the new fixtures.
And let's be clear. I mean, it wasn't like that was a secret. We've been talking about that, and you knew that water messed up car parts. We know that because GM was very vocal about it. It messed up in-home pipes and plumbing and appliances.
And I'm trying to think about like the soft tissues of the insides of our bodies. If it messes up an engine, but here we are.
And they're touting this, and we've been told that this is a great settlement. And no one has been held criminally accountable for this as well. So this is just a problem. It's a problem. And I get angry when I hear about Flint fatigue. I said, because we're the ones fatigued, because we're the ones that have been living with this. And while we know Flint can never be made whole, Flint should be made as whole as possible. And so we need to go back to that public health model. We should have had in place a chief public health advisor and a chief recovery officer.
Full-time.
Those are things that should have been there.
Full-time.
Right, because now we're in a double,
Mm-hmm.
Because I do believe that the water, compromised our immune systems, which made it more difficult for us to deal with COVID. And I think we lost people as a result of compromised immune systems. And here comes a second public health crisis on this community.
I believe that as well. And so those are the things that you're saying that you would.
I mean, as far as this particular issue,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, we should have all of those things in place. You should never, with what we have learned between a water crisis and COVID, you ought to be always ready for any kind of public health issue in a city, because we know that is not far-fetched at all. And so we need to put those kinds of things back in place. Those safety measures, those protections need to be put back in place. I mean, the pipes should be finished. People should have gotten more to fix, to take care of their homes. So there's a lot that could be done just around that particular issue. So, they promised $4 million a year for 4 years, and I might have said 4,000, but they promised that each year we would, what they were going to do was give us 4,000 fixtures a year over that time, and they did it 1 year, and then it went away, and it never came back. It never came back.
That's one of the reasons that I'm looking so forward to you being back in office, because I know that you fought and fought and fought for people. And you know what? A no fought for is better than a no just because I said, forget it, they're not going to give it to us anyway.
Right. But to lie to this community and say the water is okay, is a
Mhm.
problem.
That's
To
a
lie to
big
this
problem.
community and say I've taken care of 95% of the pipe replacement when you know you haven't,
Mhm.
that's a liar.
I think it's funny how he takes credit for things that you did while at the same time lying on you. That's just like, it's ha funny to me.
You know, that's something, isn't it?
That is something. I can't wrap my mind around it. That's why it's funny to me.
It's
It's like satire. It's that kind of funny.
it's satire.
It's like, but just so public health is one of your priorities.
Right.
That's one of your priorities.
And under public health falls mental health.
Mhm.
And when you
Because
look
as a
at the
doctor-
report that came out,
Mhm.
oh yeah. When you look at that report that came out, and this was what, 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
when they talked about PTSD, when they
Mhm.
talked about depression and anxiety
Mhm.
as a result of this water crisis, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Because being a doctor of psychology,
I do have it. Yes. I went to Michigan State University and got that.
and so you understand.
And Adrian, I just had Adrian. I took Adrian with me to graduation. She was 6 months old. And she went to my graduation. That was, yeah. Mhm.
That says a lot. That says a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I tease about how my kids were at all of my graduations, even my high school graduation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But that says a lot
Yeah.
because you're for your kids to be there, for them seeing you do that to accomplish that. But I just as a psychologist,
Yes.
with a doctorate degree,
Uh-huh.
for real. You understand, PTSD, anxiety. You understand how that water crisis, and then to layer COVID,
Right.
and this underreported crime, to layer all of that on top of each other, how that impacts us, which makes you very qualified to say that we need public health. And that's why it's a priority to you. I'm not speaking for you. I'm speaking things I've heard you say.
And you have heard me say, and you'll continue to hear me say that, and you as well. I mean, because you're a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
You have a master's.
I have a master's degree.
Exactly. So
Like
you're a
in real
social
life.
worker.
Mhm.
Not in fake life, not in pretend world.
And that's saying, because I truly believe that college isn't for everybody, and
No,
there's
it's
so
not,
many
but
things
truth
we
is
can
for
do, but
the truth is for everybody.
And I was a teen mom.
Mhm.
My kids were there when I graduated high school. They were there when I got my associate's degree. They were there when I got my bachelor's degree, and they were there when I got my master's degree. As a matter of fact, they complain, how many more graduations do we have to go to with you? And it is what it is. But
it's the truth is what we're talking
Mhm.
about. Because and that's one of the things I always said is, even if it was bad news, I was going to let the community know, because
Mhm.
we need to be able to make educated, informed
We
decisions
do.
about ourselves
We do.
and how we protect ourselves,
Mhm.
how we advocate and fight for ourselves
Mhm.
and what we deserve. And so if you say everything is good when it's not, we're not going to fight for it, because
Exactly.
we haven't been told that.
Exactly.
And so, and it was interesting, because when I was doing this interview this morning, I was saying that was why I always said Flint needed to stay in the national spotlight. Because what's happened now is people think Flint has been taken care of, and Flint has not been taken care of. They think things are just, going great in Flint as far as the water
Mhm.
and the settlement, and everything has been fixed,
Mhm.
and it has not.
It has not.
And so it was always important to me that Flint stay in the national spotlight, because we said, if this was done to Flint,
Mhm.
we know other communities where things have happened, but if they're going to do this publicly to Flint,
Mhm.
just think about what they will do to cities where it wasn't done by their government. But we could take Benton Harbor off that list because it was done by their government too. But okay, I'm sorry.
And they should have had the blueprint.
And there was a blueprint, and Flint was that
Mhm.
blueprint.
Mhm.
And it's something that we could really be proud of.
Mhm.
We can really be proud of that.
It bothers me though that those pipes are done being replaced, because I just don't. There's really no excuse. And how dare you use COVID when we've been outside, as the young people say, we've been outside
Right,
for
we
well
have been.
over a year.
Right, we have.
And so that bothers me. Like, how dare you not prioritize pipe replacement? That seems like it should have been an easy prioritization because we all
because
needed
that could have
it,
been finished,
and it could have been finished,
and it should have been finished.
and it should have been finished, and W.T. Stevens should have been paid.
Okay, wow.
And again, here they are again.
And we thank them
Mhm.
for helping.
We do. We thank
We
them.
thank them, but we knew that this deadline was not going to be reached by Friday. And again, like I said, the your traditional local media would have been beating down my door about
We
this.
wouldn't have been able to get
You
in
couldn't
City
have.
Hall.
They'd have run like 10 different stories on the same thing.
We wouldn't have been able to get through the door. We would have been
They'd
able
have
to work
camped
from the
out.
parking lot.
They would have been camped out, and that's just really amazing to me that they have not, talked about this.
Mhm.
And this is our, these are our lives. These are our lives.
And our
These
children.
that's
and our
just what I was
grandchildren.
gonna say. That's
Mhm.
just what I was gonna say. And here's what gets me. It's also our elders because when you look at who just got legionnaires,
Right.
when you look at it,
Right.
that's I don't have a grandmother. My grandparents have been dead and gone. You know how important grandparents are. I mean, that's a special kind of loving that you don't get other places.
Absolutely.
And so you're taking our seniors from us as well. You're making
Our
them sick.
wisdom.
Yeah. So it's like you don't care about our wisdom and you don't care about our brain trust. You don't care about either of those two things. So how dare you? How dare you not prioritize water? How dare you tell us that this water is okay? How dare you not finish this pipe replacement? How dare you say this is a good settlement? I mean, this is just, I don't know what else to say about that, Jameca.
It's horrible. I don't either. It's horrible. It's how dare you proclaim to be a leader in this
And to care about
community,
people, to be a
and to care
servant.
about people. And
You're
to
supposed to be a servant and a voice for this community. And you've left us voiceless on so many things.
Just left us hanging. Just left us hanging. It. I don't know. I don't know what to say about
So
that.
yeah, so that's one of the reasons I'm running. I mean, there's some others as well, like you said. I mean, and we're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about crime. We're going to talk about economic development and opportunities. We're going to talk about blight. We're going to talk about these ARPA funds.
Mhm. But for this week, we're talking about the pipe replacement because nobody
else wanted to talk about it. So
I know that that's what Stephanie Rogers just said in the comments. Said need to hold the media accountable.
exactly.
She said she got a 7-year-old mother.
Right.
I read that.
Exactly.
Yeah, 77-year-old mother.
I mean, that's crazy that you don't care that you are taking, like you said, our elders out of here. Don't even care. These, the people that help nurture us and support us and guide us and direct us, and that you damaged our babies, where many of them will not reach their full potential, and this is okay. And we want to act like Flint's doing just wonderful, and it's not under this leadership. It is
not at all. Not at all. And not at all.
And to continuously lie to this community.
I mean,
over
but
and
when you,
over and over.
But when nobody holds you accountable for lying, for telling a decade long or longer lie, when nobody holds you accountable for that, why not lie? You're getting away with it.
I don't know if you watched Omar Sims last week, but okay,
Right.
what were you gonna say?
No, she said my mama got Legionnaire and Legionella and pneumonia, Stephanie Rogers.
And see, and when she brings that up, that's one of the things we know when we had people with Legionnaires before, and some of those deaths were pneumonia, and it was attributed to. We know it was because of the water, but they sure won't tell us.
They won't. They tried to hide it, and they continue. I wonder if they're telling Stephanie and her mom and her family that it's because of the water. I wonder what they're telling them. I wonder, are they trying to cover up what's really happening?
Yes, the answer is yes.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's a big cover up, and it always has been. It always has been a cover up. And when you don't have your leaders speaking up about this, it remains a cover up. It remains a cover up. So that's where we are. And that's why we do recognize the importance of having media, and media that wants to get the information out, that's truthful, that's honest, and wants to be a part of keeping this community informed with accurate information. with accurate information. We shouldn't have to search for accurate, truthful information about what's going on with us. I mean, I think about it. When we used to have those quick meetings, how much time we got? Okay, we got a little bit of time.
5 minutes.
When we had quick meetings, those were monthly meetings that we had with city staff, state staff, federal, because EPA was there, MDEQ, now EGLE was there. We had people from the State Board of Education, the local Board of Education. We had engineers, scientists, physicians, all at this meeting that was live streamed to help keep the community informed. A report, and I know you talk about that report every month. Let me just get to it before she starts talking about it. Jameca will have you think she made us. And yes, I did. But it was important.
Let that report come out at 12:01. Let it come out 1 minute afternoon.
It was important. You needed to start your week knowing how many pipes had been changed, where restorations were being done, what our water quality was. You need to know that starting your week off. And so every Monday we put that information out and we let the community, that meeting that we had monthly was live streamed so they could hear what was going on. Because we were trying to engage the community in this process, because you need to know what's going on. You know, this is where you live. This is, these are the things that are impacting you every single day. And so we were doing, you know, whatever we could to keep the community abreast.
That's called transparency.
Okay.
That's called transparency. Anytime I can go and I can get the information, it's right there, and I can listen in on the meeting, and I can go online and get that. And if I don't know how to go online, I can call somebody and they can go online, or I can call City Hall.
Well, you have people to call. Everybody there is quitting.
Oh yeah. Oops, I forgot that part. I remember taking those calls. And going on,
I know you do, and I bet if you called Sean Crowder, he said, "I remember JJ taking those calls because he hears them."
He would hear me.
You were always
hear me on the phone talking to people and pulling up that site and appreciating that it was there to be able to help people. And I would talk to people's grannies, and I would talk to their grandchildren who were in other states who said, "My granny needs this information," and I would tell them where to get it, and we would walk through it together so that they can feel comfortable.
Yeah, we did. And we'll do it again. We'll do that again, because that's what's missing. That's what's missing. And what's really missing is somebody that cares. You need people that care. Because if you don't care, you're going to lie. If you don't care, you're going to say the water's fine. You're going to say, you know, we've replaced 95% of the pipes.
And ain't did.
You know, so you have to care to really want to not only make that difference, but to continue the fight and call people out when they're not making things happen. And we don't hear anyway.
We don't.
We hear a bunch of lies.
We're gonna do what you said.
We're gonna do a surprise next time.
Next time.
Oh, am I gonna be let in on the surprise or no?
It's on the mayor.
I guess I was late today.
We had this conversation before you came. So we have what, a minute left?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
2 minutes. I mean,
it's one now,
according to my.
It's one. Yeah, because we started late.
Oh yeah.
See,
it was Jameca had us a minute off. It's just a minute off.
And just in case they didn't get that already, you have to just say Jameca had us. But okay, let's not waste our minute.
Well, I'm happy everybody tuned in today, and I hope you tune in next week. I'm not sure what our topic will be next week, but we're going to continue to let you know the direction that I want to move the city in. I want to continue to hear from people. Jameca, I'm so glad you got here. I mean, we're just kidding with you, but I want people to stay tuned for next week, because we're going to bring them some more information. And I am going to continue to ask for your support as well. Ballots are out. You can go and vote early. You can go and vote now. You can get your absentee application in if you don't want to wait until November 8th. But I am asking for your support, which means I'm asking for your vote. So I just want to thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Go vote. Vote Karen Weaver for mayor.
Vote. Thanks, Mickey.